Hello, my creative friends. My name is Heather North. You can find me on Instagram at Heather's Creative Blessings. Today is Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021, and this is Flosstube number 15, take 2. I've already filmed once in like 5 different sections. I had so many interruptions, I decided I'm just going to start all over again because it will take forever for it to load and to edit. So let's try this again. Flosstube number 15. That means this video is going to be mainly about what's been going on in my cross-stitching world in the past week. I did something very fun last weekend that I'm really excited to share with you, but that'll be towards the end of the video. But go ahead, grab whatever it is you're working on, whatever it is you're stitching, and something to drink, and we'll get started. So it is, like I said, March 3rd, so it's a new month. I thought I would start by sharing my February stats. So for February, I had 3 finishes. I eked out one more. I'll show that in just a second. That brings my total for 2021 to 8. I have 8 pieces finished. Excuse me. I heard you did this once, so my throat's a little sore. I have 1 FFO, fully finished object. That was my Love What's in My Cup stitching with the Housewives pattern that I turned into a project bag. I'm trying to think if that was the right name. I think it is. So 1 FFO. That brings me to 2 for 2021, which means I'm on pace to do 1 a month. Pretty good for someone who's new to FFOing. And, oh, before I get into March, let me just show you that last finish. It's the only finish I've had this week, but it's in my Goose Designs bag. I love this. I love the pink. I know I keep showing this, but I just love this pink barn. Anyways, this is the January sampler of the month from Cottage Needleworks. I'm in the club from Back Quarter Shop. And I got an email this morning that my April has shipped out. So I'm putting a pause on this until the April comes and I'll start working on that. And I'm skipping basically February and March until I get on track and ahead, which might not even happen. So here's my finish. I just love this. I didn't do the bars on the windows because the club I am in is 16 count Ada, 16 or 18 count. Excuse me, beautiful beige Ada. And I didn't add the French knots or colonial knots. I am going to do some research and look for how to add beads. And I think I'm going to do their eyes and their buttons and beads instead. It's just really hard to do on Ada. I discussed that in the last video, but I consider that done because it's good enough for me, and I could even just do all 12 months at the same time with any colonial knots or French knots or whatever I decide to do. I have the door open, so I've got the cats and the little Shih Tzu in and out, but I might have to get up and shut that door because they're kind of distracting me. So the next thing, Whip Go. Do I want to do Whip Go or March Madness? What do you guys, I wish we could just, communicate. What would you rather hear about? Let's do Whip Go, simply because I'm talking about February still. I met my February goals. I showed you that last week. I did do just a little bit more stitching on Quilty Love. The first one was Grandpa's Pickup. That is done. It's just waiting for me to figure out how I want to FFO it. Grandpa's Pickup by Little House Needleworks. The other one was Quilty Love by Lori Holt. And excuse me, my allergies are bothering me today. We've had sun. Like, it got to 62 degrees on Monday. Not for very long, maybe half an hour, but we've taken the dogs on a walk 2 days in a row after months of really not hardly any walks. It's just been too wet and rainy or snowy. But it's been so nice. It was cold yesterday. I was in the low 50s. I was kind of freezing on the walk, but it was nice. And today it's still sunny. We'll get to take them today and hopefully tomorrow too. They've been so much better. Husky Malamute mix, 1-year-old, they're not puppies, but we call them puppies still. They're our newest animals. They have loved taking the walks. Squirrel, what was I talking about? Oh, Quilty Love. I got the heart row done, and one of the motifs done, like a quilt star block and a row of the 3 hearts. I started on that middle one. So I've got like 1.5 of the quilt blocks and 3 little hearts, and that will be done. I might roll that into my March Madness plans, or I might just wait because it's also number 3 on my Whip Go board. Wait till number 3 is called. And in case I didn't say it, Whip Go is works in progress, kind of like a bingo board challenge to get your whips completed. And it's the brainchild of Jessie Marie Does Stuff. So she called the new numbers for March. So like I said, those goals are done as far as what my Whip Go goal was for the month it was called. The new numbers for March are number 10 and number 24, in case you didn't know. I'm sure you do if you follow Whip Go, because we're already at March 3rd. My number 10 goal was, I had 2 charts on there, not knowing when the number would be called, and if it was in the fall or even like December, this would probably already be done, but I have I Love Fall by Cherry Hill Stitchery and Thankful and Blessed by Shannon Christine Designs. Both pieces were close to a finish, so I decided that I'm going to actually try and get both of them done. So this is my main one because I had more to do on this one. This is Cherry Hill Stitchery by Cherry Hill Stitchery. Sorry, I got totally confused. And it's called I Love Fall. I love fall most of all. And so, well, let me just show you my piece. And I can show you what I've done so far, because this is the thing I pulled out on March 1st. So I did this pumpkin and the little doodads on the side. I've got 2 more pumpkins and some leaves to do. Some more of these little white doohickeys. I don't know, just little accents. I think there's a heart in here somewhere too. Under the of. Looking at this, it looks like under the of is something. No, there's a, anyways, I've got a heart and some more of these doodads to do. And then the other thing I did was I was about halfway across on my green, and I just carried that across all the way. And I did change some of the colors a little bit. If you're interested, let me know and I can share that. But I'm not going to share it in every video because I think I take too much time doing that. So anyways, that's I Love Fall most of all. I love this piece, and I've wanted to take it out and finish it, but I also haven't been in the mood to really stitch fall. It's like this juxtaposition with my squirrely little brain. So it was nice to pull that one out, and I'm really excited to finish it. Like, it's hard to not stitch on it. I'm that excited about it. The second thing under that number 10 still is Thankful and Blessed by Shannon Christine Designs. And really what I have left to do is the Blessed. I think I have something to do. I don't know if I have 1 heart or 2 hearts, but I have half of the heart done. I need to add the berries and finish off the leaves. So that sounds like a lot when I say it that way, but it's like what's left in this little middle section is definitely less than 100 stitches. Probably more like 30 or 40, 50. But here we go. This is a piece that I coffee tea dyed myself. Yeah, isn't that sweet? Yeah, so I've got like part of the heart, and then it's got like a darker shadow on it I need to finish. I just put in 5 stitches today. I did the darker part of the leaf that's up there. That's all I've done so far. That's all the stitching I've gotten done today. And it's already afternoon. It's just been one of those days where I try and do something and I just keep getting interrupted. It's an interrupted day. I would love it if I could get this video done without interruptions, but we'll see. My talking has calmed the animals into sleep. I've got a cat over here, you know, bathing himself down at my feet, but oh well. This is number 24. So I only had 20 whips going into 2021, and the whip go board has, I think it has 25. It might have 25. Anyways, there's more whips on the whip go board than I had left, so I did split some of my whips into two. And then the other thing I did was, and that's what I have for this month, is any Little House Needleworks, because I knew I had several Little House Needleworks patterns. Any of those, a whip, if I had any whips left, that would be what I would have to do, or a smaller block, because Little House Needleworks and Country Cottage Needleworks, they do, sometimes it's patterns on their own and they're a little bit bigger, but then they also have things where you could put it all together into a big motif. And so I had finished 2, maybe 3 of my Little House Needleworks whips, and I had started this early in 2021 or late, I think early 2021 or the very end of 2020. And so this is the only whip I had, and it is Bringing Home the Tree. And the only thing I had done was about 3/4 of the white frame and a little bit of these white things I'll show you in just a second. They're not arrows, but it's kind of like an arrow. So I finished up the frame border. I think I needed these 2 white squares. And then I added some color just because, you know, white can get boring. It's on an opalescent fabric. Can you see the sparkle? Yeah. So, I added in just to get some of the color going, and I'm using the called for colors so far, and probably will only use the called for colors. And then I was getting confused because I only had a little, like the white, like I said, and so it's even all the way around, and I was like, where's the top? So I put a little T, and I always start in the top left, or almost always start in the top left-hand corner. So for me, putting a little something in that top corner lets me know, okay, this is the top left. Great tip, whether you want to put it where you start, if you start something somewhere different, although the middle wouldn't work, but you could always have your marker be in the top left, and then you'll know where it's at. So this one will be challenging to get this entire thing done because I haven't stitched on it very much before March. And so I did stitch on it on the 1st. Got that done that you saw, but yeah, that'll be a challenge. Oh, I didn't talk about, okay, so let me tell you why it's going to be a challenge. I just realized because this is my second time doing this video. That will go into March Madness. So let's talk about March Madness. So those are my Whip Go goals. Get those projects, and that'll be 3 projects completed. Well, the other thing going on is March Madness, and I have heard this term floated around. I know what it means in sports, but I didn't know what it meant in cross stitch. And so I didn't know if I'd be participating because I didn't know what it was. Last Friday, Annie, the Joy-Filled Stitcher, shared on her Instagram account her bracket for March Madness. And I said, I you know, commented, that's the word, commented on her picture, and I said, can you share, because I know she does Flosstubes on Friday night. I said, can you share on your Flosstube tonight what March Madness is and how it works and all that? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're already planning on it. And yeah, of course she was already planning to do that. But one of the things she messaged back, she commented or replied back, thank you, Annie, for being so responsive, was to check out Still City Stitchers. And I will try and remember to put the link up above here, the little I, and you can maybe after this video click on that information button and see the videos that I add to it, or I'll put it on the little end thingy here if I remember, like my technical terms, in the thingy. I'll try and link it so you can see too. If you're like me and you're like, what is this? Well, Steel City Stitchers, this is their brainchild, or their thing that they came up with. And it's based on the bracket system like they use in March Madness. Like my husband and I just started watching Cobra Kai. We had watched the old Karate Kid movies, and so if you're familiar with the Karate Kid tournaments or the karate tournaments, they've got brackets. Wrestling does the same thing. I think all sports probably do. Baseball tournaments. So if you're familiar with that tournament concept, or boxing or whatever, wrestling, you might be familiar with, you will be familiar with how this is kind of going to work. So you pair up teams in sports. You pair up 2 teams against each other, or 2 individuals against each other. And the winner of the first one goes to the next bracket. The winner of the second one goes to the next bracket. And then those 2 brackets play each other. And then you got the third and the fourth. They play, the winner plays each other. And then the winner of this top section bracket and the winner of this section bracket then pair against each other and go to the final. So what they have done is their goal is to get to an FFO. So they pair 4 whips against 4 new starts. And then they kind of do a thing on Instagram, I think, where you vote. I should just let you watch theirs because they're going to explain it a lot better. But for me, I was looking at that. I love that concept. I really, really do. And I plan on doing that next year. We'll see what next year brings, but that's what my plan would be for next year. But for me, I found out about it Friday night. So I'm watching those videos from Steel City Stitchers and Annie. And so Friday night, Saturday, I was like, okay, so can I do this? I have enough whips. I looked and I have 8 whips that are close to being finished. I think 8 or 9. But I couldn't decide on 4 new starts because it was either something that I wanted to start in Stitch Mania, or there are way too many stitches to get to a fully finish, or I didn't have everything I needed. Mainly, maybe it was a fabric or the floss. Now, if I have the floss, most of the floss, I can get started and wait for the floss to come in. But we know, right? Sometimes you can't get that floss in. And I didn't want to start a project that wasn't fully kitted. So I was getting a little stressed out about it, which is silly, but I was just trying to figure it all out in my head. And I thought, you know what I really, really want to do? And isn't this hobby about doing what we want to do? I mean, it's not a job, it's a hobby, for me at least. I'm like, what I really want to do is get those whips under control and finished. Because FFOing is a little scary to me too. That's the other thing, is maybe I could get it to a finish, but I don't know how I'm going to FFO it. So I decided, because I have 12, let's see, I'm looking, I've got 12 new starts for 2021, and I only had 8 finishes. So I'm still in a realm where I'm feeling comfortable, but I don't want to add 4 more starts and only one finish. So for me and where I am in my stitching, I decided to take my bracket. I printed it from their video, but I'm probably going to redo it because I decided to take their bracket and pair whips against each other. And I'm going to do, they're not doing the, what I'm going to do is more like the tournaments where it's not one-off elimination, but I'm going to have all the first place go against each other, and then all of the second place go against each other as the brackets go. And then decide, I might do an Instagram poll, or I might do it on a Facebook video, or a combination, and decide which whip I'm going to fully finish. So what I have is Bringing Home the Tree against Cozy Winter Wishes. I have Sew by Row against Stitches from the Heart. I have I Love Fall against Thankful and Blessed, and I have Stronger Together against Winter Notes. And you can watch my previous videos to see those because they're all whips and I've shared them before and all the information. So let's take I Love Fall against Thankful and Blessed. Whichever one I finish first is going to move on to the next round to get to first place. Whatever I finish second will be in the second round. It might be a little bit confusing, but it works in my head. Now, if I finish, because some of these are so close, like I should be able to finish I Love Fall, Thankful and Blessed, Stronger Together, Sew by Row, and Winter Notes. Each one of those, if I just took one day, it would be done. Less than a day, I could finish each of those projects, I think. The other 3 or 4 things is going to take longer in the month to get those to a finish. But I can then pull out some of my other things. So I might pull out Quilty Love and bring that to a finish. I might pull out some other things and just work on it. So mainly this month it's going to be concentrating on whips, and then I'll decide once I get one finished, I might start something new. So if I get both brackets done, maybe that's my start something new. So I'm playing with some of the ideas of how I want to work that, but I thought I would just share with you because I know it's out there and several of you. And if you're participating in March Madness, will you comment below and let me know? And let me know, are you doing it the traditional way that Steel City Stitchers kind of arranged it, where you have a whip against a new start, or if you're doing something original or something different with it? The thing about Annie, she's doing all ink circles projects. So she's taking one manufacturer and doing, or one designer and doing that way. And I really like that idea. So I might do that. I can see myself doing that next year with Country Cottage Needleworks, because I've got a lot of those. Or maybe Stitching with the Housewives, because I have a lot of those, or some new designer I find between now and then. So that's enough about March Madness. That's what I am doing, and I will definitely do my best to link it in some form or fashion for you, and I'll definitely also write it in the description below. If you don't know, click on the see more or the down arrow. I have everything, or as much as I can remember to include or that can find, in the show notes, so you can definitely look that up to see what it is you want to find. And if I forget, again, just comment and let me know. So the other whips that I worked on this past week, I've got 2 more. My Sew by Row. Just so you know, I have all my thread for Sew by Row on this ring, and I've got the needle minder on the outside of my, it's a plastic mesh project bag. I mean, it's just plastic. It looks like mesh, but it's plastic all the way through. Like a solid vinyl. I have that hanging on there. It makes it easier to find. So the Sew by Row, I think today is the last day. Maybe it was last Wednesday. But this is by Lori Holt. The stitch along is with Lori and Kimberly Jolly at Fat Quarter Shop. I was working on the thread row. I finished that. I added the, well, let me just show you on mine. That would be even prettier. Not prettier, I shouldn't say that. Well, that sounded bad, didn't it? But I love my color conversion, so let me show you mine. So the things I did, I added the needles to the sewing machine. I added the rest of the cords and the plug-in for the irons. I finished up all of my spools of thread, and I forgot to mention last week, this stitch, or this spool here in the middle, has an extra stitch, so it's 1 stitch wider. If you don't do that, you will be off 1 stitch on this side. I don't think if I didn't point it out and you didn't stitch this, you would know, but I'm just telling you, by the time I realized that, and I forgot to mention that in the last video, by the time I realized that, I was all the way done, and I was not going to pull that out and restitch it, because it took me forever to find what I had done wrong, first of all. And the only reason I knew was because looking at the pattern, see on the pattern, this doesn't go all the way to the end of these back stitches, and this doesn't either, but on the pattern it did line up. So then I had to go look, well, where did I mess up? Did it line up here? Did it line up there? I don't think in the end anybody will know, so I did not take it out. And I don't know. And then the other thing I did, I had about half of these ribbons done, and I finished the rest of the ribbons and added a few more of the fabric. So what do I have left to do? I need to add the pins onto the pin cushions. and I need to add all of the fabric down at the bottom, and I think that'll be done. So really, I was at one point like 3 weeks behind, I think, on this, and now I'm just 1 week. So yay, yay, that'll be done. I don't know how to finish it. How would you guys finish this? I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna finish it. When I do, I'll share it here. And then this is my last whip. I do have a new start, so I do have that. This is my last whip though, if you don't count that. This is Stitches from the Heart. It's a freebie from Fat Quarter Shop. I am using their MPI silk pack. Sorry, there's a little hair and it's scratching my face. Or not scratching, itching. So this is a freebie from Fat Quarter Shop, and you can go to their website and get it. I use their floss pack, the MPI floss pack. I have half plus a little bit of the heart done. It's stitched on Ada. This is another one where I couldn't tell where I was in the pattern because you flip it around. I started in the very middle. I really couldn't tell where I was, so I stitched out top to tell the top. And in my newer pieces, I'm like, all I really need to do is the T. But what I do is I take a color, whichever color comes next. So for here, I might do the color that's right here, or I might do the one that's right here under here. I'll do that triangle. Most of them are triangles. And then I'll find another spot. Maybe this color is also right in here, and I'll do that, or I'll do here. And I'll do at least one of those a day. So I'm doing 1 to 3 lengths of thread maybe a day. And at that pace, I definitely can finish this in March. So yeah, I really like this idea. And I think February was for finishes, but I wanted to start all the love things, so I'm behind on those. And then of course I'll still probably work on some of my other whips that I have going, like Quaker Snowflakes and just my type. My new start. This is, I want to say her name is Dena, half stitch, cross stitch. I will again put her channel in the description down below. She shared this, and it's Cross Stitch Nation by Heartstring Samplery. In 2020 was when she did it. And it says, I belong to the Cross Stitch Nation. She changed some of the colors in the dresses. Sorry, it was about to fall. She changed some of the colors in the dresses, as well as the threads and the hair and the skin tone. And she did that to more represent her friends that are cross stitchers, and I love that idea. So when she shared that and that idea, I knew I'd be doing the same thing. I think it was February or March where she was sharing this. So I got this pattern. I am changing already the colors a little bit, as far as even I'm using some of the colors that are called for, but I'm using them in different places than where they're called. This is going to match closer to my Votes for Women piece, if you have seen that. I pulled some of the same colors, and there's a new one coming out this weekend at Market, and it is Flosstube Nation, so I'll be using that too. But for me, when she shared this, I belong to the Cross Stitch Nation. I just really felt connected to that, and it's probably one of the reasons I started doing Flosstube as well, was that I had in the past just cross stitched alone. It was very solitary kind of. I mean, I did it around other people, but I was the only one cross stitching. And to discover that there's a world of other stitchers on Instagram, on Facebook, on Flosstube, people that have, I didn't know they have retreats and get-togethers. And if you've seen Pam and Steph of Just Keep Stitching, they talk about Stitch Harmony, where they get stitchers together. It just felt like such a community. And at a time when we were all stuck at home, to know that it goes beyond just being at home. I really love that. So I will be representing some of my cross-stitching friends, but I also thought I'm going, and I don't know, I don't want to share too much and make this video really long, but I want to represent the person who taught me how to stitch, and that is Jenny. I'll just say her first name, Jenny. She has red hair, and so definitely one of these is going to have red hair to represent Jenny. And I also thought of representing, like, the scissors, my cross stitch friend. I just decided that my cross stitch friend, that's going to be Roxy, and Roxy is Hawaiian Japanese heritage, and so, and she's short like me. Okay, so Roxy's number 2. So I'll pick a color of dress that kind of goes with her and try and find a skin tone that matches her and a hair color that matches her. So I really, really love that idea. Thank you, Dena, for sharing that. I've already changed, like I said, the colors, or at least the placement of the colors. This is Gentle Arts Mountain Mist. And this is called for, but it's called for in one of the dresses. I think it was Endive that was called for the leaves and the stem, but this is a softer color. So I chose this, and it was left over from Coming to America. Mayflower actually had some of these in my little stash. This is Weeks Dye Works Charlotte Pink. So these are the 2 colors I've used so far. It's on 32 count. Can't remember the color. I shared it on Instagram, but it's by Fabric Flare, 28 or 32 count. And I'm doing 1/2. So kind of a new thing for me. I've done it a little bit, but I love how soft these colors came out. And I started this, I want to say last Thursday. Let me look and see. Yeah, I started this last Thursday, and then I picked it up again yesterday, and between those 2 times, I was like, I stitched out the Mountain Mist. Like, this is like a whole new thread color. Am I sure I used Mountain Mist? I had done 2/2, and it dawned on me, oh, I was doing 1/2. It is so soft and so pretty. So without, I mean, I've talked enough about it, right? Heather, just show the fabric. There's, that color's a little bit closer. It's just something vintage, the way it feels. The look, not the way it feels, but the way the look feels. Does that make sense? Maybe just to me. I just love it. I am so enjoying this. I don't want to put it down. I enjoy it so much, which is weird because it's just a little bit of stitching. And maybe just changing from 2/2 to 1/2 made the difference. But I love it so far. Obviously, I haven't gotten very far. I still have some decisions to make on colors. I also want to show this because I think I showed this in my last video. This deer, isn't that the sweetest thing you've ever seen? That's a needle minder from Flamingo Toes. So I had to point that out because I just love it so much. I love it so much. So pretty. So that felt very feminine. This is in a bag I made myself. I made too small, but I made it for Coming to America. And it's hard to, I don't know if you can even see in here, but this is like a map material. And, oh, that's something else I picked up. Sorry, squirrel. It's a map material. So I thought that would work for Cross Stitch Nation. And this is in my haul this week. I'm gonna just show it to you now. I got that to represent some of the more Caucasian skin tones, but they don't represent some of the other skin tones. I'm looking, if you know of a good color conversion for, like I said, Hawaiian, Japanese, Hispanic, African-American skin colors that I can add, and hair colors, so more brown, a good red. I think I actually have a good, this color here is for skin tone, but that would almost work for red hair. So, but if you have some good color conversions or color combos for those things, can you let me know in the comments below? Because I could definitely use some help. I did a Google search, and I'll do more as I get into that. But yeah, that's my plans for that. So those are all of my whips, my new start, my finishes. Happy Mail and haul. What do I share first? I'm going to share this first because it's not Happy Mail, it's not haul, but some people collect their threads, like the end of the threads, you know, when you're done, you just got a little bit, or you clip off some of the, maybe the frayed ends of your thread, and they're called ORTs, other random threads or other random things, and people collect them. And since I work with so many different projects, even within a day, it doesn't always look pretty in my opinion. And honestly, I have enough stuff that I collect and save. Although I'm looking right now, and across from me, there's a little window on top of over my desk. And I've got these little jars in there. But I got this, it's called the Love Potion jar in my Valentine box from Bestitch Me. And I had all these threads. They're in aquas and pinks and whites and gray and a little red, raspberry, for all the Valentine stitching I was doing. I was looking at the pile, and there was just a little pile of it. That's so pretty. I think I want to keep it. So I decided to put my Valentine Love pretty colors in this ORT jar. And I could see, even though I wasn't planning on collecting these, I can totally picture myself having a Valentine's jar, and then having the fall color jar, and then having a Christmas jar. I don't need another thing to collect, but how stinking cute is that? So if you got that Love Potion jar and you're wondering what to do with it, other than the cork, they put a magnet on, so they had needles in there. You could totally use it for that, but I just thought this was super stinking cute. My order from Keepsakes is on its way. It's being shipped as we speak. I mean, it's already shipped. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I also got, this is a needle minder from Flamingo Toes. I ordered something from Annie's. I ordered something that half of it came or more than half of it came last week, and then this came later. I think that was it. Or I might have ordered this on Fat Quarter Shop. I can't remember. But it's another Flamingo Toes needle minder, and it's the sewing machine and the quilt block. Love it, love it, love it. And then I got the Fabric Flare Cotton Candy. It's 14 count Ada. And you can see some of the things that they have on here that you could make with it. It's still in its package, sorry about that. So it's a little bit lighter. It's definitely more pink than it's showing up. Yeah. The color's not showing in the camera, but very nice, and I can totally see more of my Valentine projects going on that. Or they showed one, this is Mayflower Tree by Hello from Liz Matthews. Have you seen Liz Matthews' trees that she's done? Because that's an idea of what you can use it for. So it looks really good with just some white or off-white stitched on it as well. Totally saving the best for last. Okay. Oh. That cork lid just stuck to my cup. Don't want to break that. I'm going to move that over here. Move this over here. Move this here. Okay, so I was watching, of course, Pam and Steph Just Keep Stitching, and they received this, not this exact one, but they received a wooden stand, and they shared, it's from R&R Woodwork Ski on Instagram. It's Rich and Roxanne Henderson. It could be Roxana. My handwriting's very not good right on there. They custom make these pieces, and they are gorgeous. So I saw the ones that Pam and Steph showed on their YouTube, and I had to order. I also saw Liz Matthews, Hello from Liz Matthews, shared it on her video as well, and they had just 2 things in stock, and I almost got one of them because I was afraid I'd have to wait a very long time, because we all know that custom pieces take longer, for one, And shipping in this day and age takes longer still. So I'm like, it could take them 2-3 months to make and then another month to get here. And I'm like, let's just start the process of shipping what they have in stock. And they had 2 pieces, and one was the color, kind of the color I wanted. The second one had this knot in it, which to me, some people think, oh, that's a flaw. To me, that adds character. It makes it so pretty. So I almost got that one, but it was a really dark, I think it was like a walnut stain, and that's not really my favorite. I like the lighter stains. I also really like cherry and mahogany and the more red. So I was debating back and forth. She said, we can make you one. And she says, there's only like, I think there's like 5 or 6 people ahead of me in line with orders. And he knew that he had that, I think it was the cherry wood I wanted. And I was like, well, how long is that going to take? She says, oh, we should be able to get it finished within a week. I'm like, a week? Oh yeah, let's do the custom order. So very, very, very responsive. They interact with you. They'll share pictures of their progress. You can look at things they made before and ask for something, you know, similar. And so I said, okay, I would love to have that red. It's like it's 2 different colors in the wood itself. Which could also, I don't know if that's a flaw or if that's a good thing. To me, it's a very good thing. I love it. So I asked for that, and I asked for it to have something with some character to it. So a knot or just that different color wood grain. I really wanted to see the wood grain too. I love the look of wood grain. And so he made this for me. This is the stand. And you just put your paper, it's got a slot. The paper goes in the slot. This is a freebie pattern, but I don't want to show too much of it. And it just stands up there. This is just a flimsy piece of printer paper, and it stood up. So like the sew by row, when you're working on those patterns out of cardstock, it's a deep enough groove that it can fit in there. Oh my gosh, isn't that gorgeous? It's a deep enough groove that it can fit in there, and it just rests there. This is a magnet. So your, oh, no, it stayed on there. I got nervous. I mean, it's scissors and that's sideways, but you can keep your needle or your scissors on there. And I brought this one specifically because it has plastic. So just so you can see, the metal does stick on there. Or you could even put a pretty needle minder if you don't want just a plain magnet, or just not use it, but perfect. Beautiful workmanship. Here's the bottom. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I mean, like, I can't decide which side I like better, the front or the back. And I just asked for like a clear coat on it. And then it has this little tiny knot, which when you're looking at it just right, it looks like a heart. So that when I pulled it up, I'm like, oh, they found one with a heart. Oh, and that's my favorite shape. I mean, it's a small knot, but it's so pretty. I plan on probably ordering more. I'm going to have one that just stays downstairs and one that stays upstairs. I also, even though I'm using this for my cross stitch patterns, when I was doing card making and scrapbooking, I would work from sketches. This would be a great thing. Or if you need to just type, maybe you need it for work, and it would be a great thing to have the sheet that you could reference when you're typing. So wonderful craftsmanship, super fast work. They can't guarantee they'll always be that fast, but within a week they were shipping it. And what took the longest really was just waiting for that varnish or whatever they seal it with, waiting for that to dry, because you want it to be super dry before you package it up and ship it. That probably took the longest. She had it in one box and it was more expensive, so she found a different size box that it would fit in so that I could save on shipping, which customer service above and beyond. Thank you so much, Roxanne. Rich, you do incredible work. Thank you. So along with that, so I wouldn't travel alone, and because I thought this idea was genius, they have these, I want to say it's thread winders, bobbin winders. I don't know the exact name of it, but again, he found a piece of wood that had some character and beauty to it. It doesn't need to be beautiful. It just needs to be functional, but it is so beautiful. It's smooth. Same with this. No rough edges. Your thread and your fabric are not going to get caught on it. And I'm very, is it tactile, the word? touch and feel. I like the way things feel, or I don't like the way things feel. But what you do is you wind your thread around it and then you cut it, and you've got the perfect length of thread. So for your DMC, your Weeks Dye Works, and your threads that floss that do not come cut to size, this really helps with the cutting to size. So I got those two pieces. Aren't they beautiful together? They're just, the workmanship is fabulous. The responsiveness and the customer service are above and beyond. I cannot recommend them enough. But Rich and Roxanne Henderson, and they also have some other pieces I'm going to order. I think that will be really good for finishes. So I'll be placing another order soon. They had to raise the prices slightly. I still, don't listen, Roxanne, mute. I still don't think they charge enough for the workmanship that they do. So I think that this is now $25 because the cost of wood went up, which I am well aware of because we need to redo our fence. The cost for fence boards tripled when we checked last summer. Let's not go there. I'm gonna get depressed because that's gonna be expensive. But anyways, I think, like I said, I think it's only $25 plus shipping. Well worth it. And you're supporting someone in a small business that I just always feel really good about when you're helping an individual or a family. You know it's making a big difference in their lives when you order. Okay, so Saturday. So we've had a lot of rain. We've had a very wet winter. We had that big snowstorm that came through with ice. And it's not been good weather for driving or anything. And you know there's not many places you can go. On the West Coast, things are still locked down somewhat. So, and then with the weather, you just don't go out. But we had a sunny day on Saturday, and in fact, it has been sunny since then. You know, maybe a little bit of rain on Sunday, but it has just been incredible weather here. And Saturday was beautiful and sunny, and I got up and took a shower, and my husband said, "Are we going somewhere? Where do you want to go?" And I'm like, I've just been feeling so caged in this house. I said, I just need to get out. I mean, like, can we just drive somewhere? I mean, it doesn't even have to be a place. Can we just drive around? I got to get out of this house. And he says, well, if you could go somewhere, where would you want to go? And the first thing that pops into my head is Acorns and Threads in Portland. But I'm not going to say that because Portland, I mean, that's kind of far. I'm not sure if I'm ready. He said, I said, well, just driving around would be fine with me. And he says, well, what's that store you've been wanting to visit? Where's that at? I said, Acorns and Threads in Portland. I mean, I've never been to Needleworks shop store. I'm trying to say those things at the same time, in person. And you can only tell so much from a computer screen, and being able to see fabric and threads in person makes a huge difference, especially in these hand-dyed and over-dyed fibers. Not only does it show up different on the computer screen, but it can be different from dye lot to dye lot. And so I said, I really want to go, but I don't know if I'm ready to go to Portland yet. There's been some things going on that I'm not going to discuss here on YouTube, but besides those things specifically going on, the fact that there's so many people that are intermingling and there's a pandemic going on makes me a little nervous as well. And so I called Acorns and Threads and just asked, okay, where exactly are you located? Are you near some of this stuff going on? Is it safe? And she said, well, we've only been allowing 2 people in the store at a time, but we now are up to 4. So that meant my husband couldn't go inside with me. Not that he really totally wanted to. I think he was very happy to go to McMiniman's next door and hang out while I shopped. But you only allow 4 people at a time. Everybody's wearing masks. The other thing I have with that, because I mostly stay here for my health, it's just been safer for me to be home. But when I wear a mask, I have physical responses to it. So my asthma's worse. I get headaches. My oxygen level lowers, which I only know because I had so many medical things go on last year that they would take my pulse ox. I think it has physical reactions for me. So when I wear a mask for any length of time, even going to the grocery store, I will have a headache afterwards at minimum. So, and often I'm struggling to breathe. I get in the car, I take the mask down and have my inhaler if I need it. But I just, yeah. So I decided to just be brave because I was ready to kind of break out a little bit. And so my husband took me to Acorns and Threads. I still want to go with my fellow Flosstube friends and see in person. I mean, they're my new cross-stitch friends, but I really want to go with all of y'all. But only 4 people were allowed in a time, and there was at least 2 other people in there with me the time I was there. So, and it's a small shop and there's a lot of stuff, so it's kind of crowded. And so, not crowded, I mean, I don't know how to put this. It'll be better when things open up. Let's just say that. They're doing construction. They're actually expanding, I think. So, woo! I just had a blast. So I knew my time would be limited. And yes, I did get a nasty headache. I did have issues afterwards, but I was grinning from ear to ear. It was so worth it. I had to take a 4-hour nap at least on Sunday, so I did not get as much stitching done. That's the other reason for March Madness not being fully planned out, was I spent all day Saturday shopping. Well, not all day shopping, but that was my shopping trip, and we went a couple of other places. And then Sunday I was just wiped out physically, so totally worth it. So what I did, they told me when I called, you can email what you're looking for. We can pull threads or fabrics so that, or patterns for you before you even get here. So I did that to kind of save myself some time. And I brought this with me. This is stuff that I already had that I wanted to kit up with. The Winter Rose Manor was one. I'm still looking for the perfect fabric for that. I just have this idea in my head that I can't quite get out in person. I asked them to order, it says Brenda's Brew on there, and she said the color is different in person, and they just had some come in last week, but it already sold out. So I asked her to order more, which they're going to order anyways, but they're going to hold a piece for me to decide if I want when it comes in. So I'll be making another trip down there when that comes in. I mean, I can just have them ship it to me. They do that. But like I said, there's some things I wanted to see in person. So other than that, and I got some threads that they had for that. They didn't have all the threads needed, and I knew that. And it's one of the reasons I haven't started Winter Rose Manor. So I have Into the Garden Softly. This is the next one I want to start, and will probably be my reward for, well, this one or the next one. A reward for March Madness. This is by October House Fiber Arts. And I already had fabric. I asked them to pull the threads, and then when I opened up the fabric, I realized I had the threads inside the fabric. I was only missing, I don't think I was missing anything on this one. So I pulled that. I didn't even need it. But it was good to see this because I want to pair it with the next one that I got and to see if the fabric would work. I'll put that here. I have to take a drink. So the other thing I brought, I don't think I can finish this in March Madness because I thought about it and I looked at the stitch count and it was way too much. But spring, especially if I'm trying to get things finished as well, like 4 new stars and 4 whips. Anyways, this is Spring Garland by Madame Chantilly. And I had some of the threads, but I had them go ahead and pull the threads so I could compare it to fabric. So here's the threads. And then I changed out on the bird, and I might change my mind again, but on the bird I grabbed a couple of different overdyed maybe that and the eggs. They didn't have the brown called for in that nest, but I might have it at home, or I will use something I already have. That won't be that difficult to do. But I wanted some overdyed in those, so I pulled out, or I bought green onion and poblano pepper. And I needed more poblano pepper for something else anyways. So yeah, I'm excited to start that. And I got fabric. So I told you last week I had called Keepsakes and talked to Stephanie about kind of switching over to linen, or not maybe just switching over, because I think I'll still do Lugana, but adding that in and stitching with it. And so I grabbed 3, and the order from Keepsakes is on its way. I'm really excited to see what they chose for me to stitch that piece. You can watch last week's video to see more about that. But I got this piece, and it's so funny. It looked different in the store than it did when I met my husband at McMiniman. I mean, it was just right there. Okay, Heather, be quiet. I met him next door, and the lighting in there is really dark. So it looked totally different in that lighting when I pulled it out to show him. Poor guy. But I showed him what I got. So it's called Pewter. It's Picture This Plus 36 count linen. And the color, it's definitely got some gray, silver, but it also has just a tint of like orange, mint, mossy. So it's going to look different in different lighting. And I think this will be beautiful. This is way more than I need. I was going to have her cut it down, and then I was like, yeah, but you look at it and you see different things on different sides. And I love this. So I said, as long as I enjoy 36 count, and I could see it. That was the other thing. I'm looking at the store going, yeah, I can see it's going to be difficult, but I can see those holes. And I may have to get myself one of those Stella lights to really be able to see. I think that's what I'm going to ask for my birthday, Mother's Day. They're within a week of each other, so I might ask for that. But yeah, I love this, and we'll use it for several different things, including, I'm thinking, where did I put that? The spring garden. I did the floss toss on there. It looks really good. That's the other reason I grabbed these 2 colors, because the color for the eggs is very similar. It's either the eggs or the bird. One of those colors there was very similar to the fabric, so I wasn't sure if it would show up. That's the other reason for getting those overdyed. So I love that. It would also work for Into the Garden. Yeah, Into the Garden Softly. And if I don't, but it also, okay, if I put these 2 colors on the wall together, they're going to look good together as well. Then, and I can't remember what I got this for. Maybe it was one of the, maybe this was for the spring garland. I can't, for the life of me. There was something I got this for, but it looks so good with it. And when you pair it with this, you really see the green in it. But this is a small piece. It's another Picture This Plus linen, 32 count, Fathom. Oh, I'm so in love with it. So in love with it. And I love these 2 together. So I can't remember exactly what I plan to use this for. Can't remember, but something. And then put those together. So whatever it was, I got the threads for that too. Then the last piece of linen from there is this. It's Belfast linen, 32 count. And as Stephanie said, it has that orange, so it's all Zweigart based. And I don't know if this will show up, but this is another one that I thought might work really well with Winter Rose Manor. I'm just going to have to wait until I get all of the floss thread in and put it on there to see. You're really able to kind of see the pattern in the picture, even if, or in the video, even if you can't, the color is a little bit off. It has a very light bit of mocha brown, very light. Again, this would work for the things, all 3 patterns that I brought. I think I brought another pattern, but I'm not seeing it. It would work for any one of those. I'm going to keep this up here to show. So the other thing I got was some thread. I've got a few different patterns that if I stitched up and put it back here somewhere, go really well in this room. So I was looking for aqua mint colors, and I got, these are both dinky dyes. This is aquamarine, and this is gum leaves. Love those two together. And then this is Weeks Dye Works Sea Foam. It's not showing up very well on camera, but very pretty. And then Classic Colorworks Antique Lace. It's just a slight sage mint, just a slight tint of it instead of pure white. And I thought that would also look lovely. I mean, like, can you see that stitched on this? Even though the colors aren't showing up true. My dog's having a dream. And then the last one, this is Crescent Colors, which I think is now Classic Colorworks Prickly Pear. And it's just great raspberry and light pink to bubblegum pink. Just a wonderful variegation. And I thought that these 3, somehow would look really good together. And it would go with all of the Valentine love stuff that I got last, or that I worked on last month, or they still have left to do because I didn't get to everything. The last 2 things I got from them, are you guys bored? I had so much fun though. I had so much fun. So much fun. These are counting pins. My Big Toe Designs marking pins. That's what they're calling them, marking pins. So I have a counting pin that I bought. It's beautiful. Pretty sure I've shown it before. But the needle that you use is so large. It's so big. And it leaves a big hole. And I thought moving to the 36 count especially, it was just too big of a hole to put in there. So I saw this, and it's this sweet little pink beads, crystal, on the top of the pin. And then this is 20, maybe 26 count, maybe smaller than that, the little needle. So I can use this to count or to leave it in there. It would also just be super, I could even put it in the top of this cork. Wouldn't that be cute? Maybe I'll do that with one of them. It was only $3, so I thought it was worth it. Oh, and there's no sales tax in Oregon, so bonus. I didn't think about that until the next day. I didn't have to pay sales tax. This is Pins for Winter Posey by Jeanette Douglas Designs. Okay, so I think that these pins are meant for the pattern Winter Posey, which I don't even know what that looks like, but I do like Jeanette Douglas, so I'm gonna look for it and see, because I might stitch up that pattern and use it for this. But even if I don't, it'd be super cute on on several of the Christmas patterns, or even just a pin cushion. Look at that little candy cane and the holly berries. So I just impulse bought that. Love it. But my husband thought that was cute because he doesn't care about the fabric or the thread. So it was just these 2 things that he's like, oh, that's cute. Gotta take another drink. So, more haul than happy mail, but definitely just a fantastic, fun week. I think, was it last week or the week? I think the week before I said I did a lot of shopping. That stuff hasn't come in. This week, I didn't have as much stitching time. but I still stitched a little bit each day. And so far I've stitched every day in 2021. And I think I will unless I'm too sick to. That would be, I think, the only reason I wouldn't, because I can always put a few stitches in the morning or at night before bed, even if there's other things going on. However, we will be having company come up, family from California. April, May is what I'm thinking, late March, April. When they're here, I won't get very much done at all, but I do, maybe. I mean, it just depends on what we do. But other than that, I think just about every day in 2021, maybe I'll be stitching, because so far I have stitched every day for a very long time. That's all I have for today, right? It's a lot. Another long video, but it's because I shared so much about acorns and threads. So I'm curious about a few things. Number one, what have you been stitching on doing while I've been talking this whole time? That would be number one. Number two, what is your favorite Needleworks store? And have you been there in person? And number three, if you live in the Pacific Northwest and you're interested in a meetup at Acorns and Threads, say something about that too, because vaccines are rolling out, and yeah, maybe it's something that we could do this summer even. I'm thinking maybe. I mean, for me personally, it'll have to be when we can safely go without wearing masks. So I'm feeling hopeful and optimistic, and I probably just need to stop talking. I'm just feeling hopeful and optimistic right now that life can be more enjoyable again. Let's say that, because 2020 was a rough one. Obviously the pandemic, but also my own personal health issues, and then having to deal with that and with surgery on top of having these really energetic, strong puppies and other life things that happened. It's been a rough year and a long time, and I'm just ready for things to be better. I'm ready to get out. I'm ready to go to the ocean. I'm ready to go shopping. I shop enough online. Oh, stitching all the things. I would love to one day go to a retreat with other people. That would be amazing. I wish I could go to StitchCon. It's already filled up, or I'd probably hop on a plane. And it is funny what I'm willing to do for different things. So anyways, I think I should just leave it at that. Let me know what you've been stitching on this week. Let me know, yeah, anything else you want to leave in the comments. If I forgot something, let me know that too. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.